Hello. Welcome to the Dutch special episode. So, hello and welcome to the live coding happy hour. This is July 19th, 2024. And as you can see, we are wearing a bow tie. This is a special episode for someone. And it's none other than Mr. Chuck Thomasy, the Bond of ServiceNow. So, let's give him a hand of applause for his service towards the community. Apparently, we found out that this episode is number 231, and 6 years ago, on July 2022, 2016, it was the first episode for Live Coding Happy Hour. So we have a privilege. We are almost close to that 2022 July, but yeah, we are there. Live Coding Happy Hour is all about showing some cool stuff about ServiceNow. We will be doing, of course, live coding with you all. Dhruv will be driving today our screen and he will be doing the development for us. We know Mark, we know William, they will introduce themselves. But today it's all about showing you the process, trying to break the system, trying to develop some cool stuff. And with that, I would like to start with the introduction. First, I am Ashutosh Munot. I am the platform owner and the certified technical architect working with National Netherlands in Amsterdam, responsible for the platform rollout. I am also a 9x, we call it now, a 9x times MVP on the ServiceNow platform. Over to you, Dhruv. I think this way. Yeah. You're on mute.
It's on Friday, man. Hi, everyone. My name is Dhruv. I am a tech lead at NN Group for SecOps modules, and I'm not that old like these guys. They are 9 times MVP. I'm 4 or 5. But yeah, that's me. And you should go. Well.
Yeah, I'm Willem. I work at Platformation, which is a cool company. I work in the Utrecht office. I work there as an architect, and I'm 4 times MVP.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Mark Roethof here. Former basketball coach, private pilot, and currently working as an independent ServiceNow consultant. And one of the ServiceNow MVPs. And, like Ashutosh, 9-time MVP.
So our audience might be surprised to see 4 of us. So this is the Dutch MVP's live coding happy hour, and we have hijacked it, same like Mark and William did the hijack of our Lata Viprata podcast. We will shortly explain what we are going to do in today's episode, but before that, let's rate our drinks. I will go last, but Dhruv, we will start with you.
I've got, how you say that, ginger-infused warm water because I'm driving today, so I shouldn't be drinking something.
Good.
So I have this one. It's a lemonade, an organic lemonade with blood orange. So very curious about this one.
I've brought a Hertog Jan Grand Prestige. It's a big bottle, but let's try it out. I'm curious.
Great. Last but not least, I'm having Affligem. This is one of the Belgian beer which we get in Netherlands. One of the good blonde beers which I like. But that being said, what we are going to do today is we are going to discuss an exciting feature on ServiceNow platform, which came last release basically, but the improvements which we are seeing now, and V4 have actually discussed it a lot also in other forums. So we thought, okay, let's share our knowledge on this and try to break the system and try to provide some best practices. It's nothing but time limited user roles, right? We are going to mainly Dhruv is going to share us how the system works, and William, Mark, and me will try to provide some guidance towards this particular topic. But the driver is Dhruv, the controller is Dhruv. So Dhruv, over to you.
Before I start, you three are not allowed to enjoy. You have to help out. Okay. So time limited user role. Let's start with some docs. Hey, this is Mark's instance, so he is so kind to create that link. I've logged in this instance for the first time. Okay, so basically, the scenario is this is a very good functionality, and people have been waiting for this for quite long. So it allows you to grant some roles, especially admin role, for a temporary basis. Some before this, we used to use some middleware or some key vault kind of things. But yeah, the good thing about this, we have very limited documentation on this. And this is just we have, and this is an important bit. So don't take it as a trick. You might have some license implications. So let's go through the documentation. It says, go to the form, fill that in. Okay, that's all.
Dhruv, whenever I see a warning, I also read it as a challenge, right? So we're going to treat that one as a challenge today.
Well, this is not a challenge. This is like a prerequisite. So challenge is this, I think. It just allows these three roles. So I would like to use it for another roles, but let's see. Okay. So time limited. This is the table. So let's see what it is. Role. Okay. Let's have a look. Yeah. See, this is a fresh instance. So you can select one. And do we have any test users? I think so. Randomly pick. Let's randomly pick. Nice. Let's have a look what kind of access he has.
Yeah, and Dhruv, maybe this is the time to show some of Mark's test users. We have a long list of famous Dutch people. So if you recognize some of them, please let us know in the chat. Mark has hidden some nice gems in there. And this is also a test for you, Dhruv. If you're a real Dutchie, you can pick them out easily.
Oh,
right?
no. No. I only recognize Arnold Kui when I was looking at this. So just messing that up. This one. Mr.
Mr. S and Utils, right?
That is Mr. S and Utils. Okay. Can someone tell me who's sales? Yeah. Nice.
You need to know who this is, Dhruv.
No.
Oh, this is a 2-time Indy 500 winner.
2-time?
Yeah. Oh, you need to learn a bit more Dutch.
Yeah. I'm staying with you guys, man. So, yeah. So, thing is, this user has just the ITL role. Yes. So, let's try giving him admin role and see what exactly happens in the backend. So, here is our tab. Start time. And let's start by now itself. End time. How much I should select? There's a restriction, right? Some restriction should be there.
Yeah, it should be within the 5 days, but maybe you can try and already see if it allows us maybe 10 days from now?
Nothing happens in 10 days. We'll need at least 1 month. Let's try. What do you think? This is a good thing or a bad thing that you can't have it for more than 5 days?
I think it will vary for every customer, right? Some customers you perhaps only want to have this for a day or something, or you don't want to have to schedule it in the future. Some other might want it longer, but what can we do about it, Dhruv?
We'll figure it out.
A bit of background, right? Because that 5 days is just to limit the amount of time, right? And this is what they call in the business sometimes the fireman procedure or break glass procedure. So this is really, as it says, time limited user role. So there's 5 days. I would set it maybe even stricter. So we could break it either way, right? To say, can we make it even shorter or even longer?
Yep.
Yeah, and you know what? Now this is 5 days, but in the last release, it was even 2 weeks when me and Dhruv did a live stream on this. We saw it was 2 weeks. So I think the platform itself is coming with a suggestion that, okay, it should be really time limited. But like Mark said, customers can able to decide on that particular time.
Yeah. The tricky thing for me is, it seems, let's first check whether he or she has got the access or not. I personally prefer access analyzer, but okay. So as an admin, let's have a look if this is the trick here, that nobody knows how it is happening in the backend. So no additional roles, nothing. It's just the same ideal thing. No role is getting assigned, but let's have a look. Select user, table, admin, business rules. Let's try that. Business rule. Yeah, just nice. These are the messages. Granting roles. What is that? We'll figure that out. But yeah, you can notice the person can write, read, delete business rules, and in the system, he doesn't seem to have any role apart from ITL. So something is happening in the backend. But yeah, let's first start. So now the question arises, as a platform owner, Ashu, what should be the approach to open this up for users?
I would say there should be, we call it as 4I principle. Before we give any delegated role for a limited time, it should go via a approval step. So people who are approving the role are actually responsible for the actions which are happening on the platform. Because let's consider admin role. If you want to give some temporary admin role to someone for production instance, and if you are in a finance industry, the data is very sensitive, and we are audited on very high notes. For example, within Netherlands, we are audited by DNB, just an example. And they literally check each and every step and how the person got the access to his production. So for me, as a platform owner, it's very important that who has authenticated this role or approved this role towards production. So I expect that there is certain level of approval implemented within this flow, but out of the box, I don't see it through.
So our friend record producer or catalog item.
Maybe also to add to Ashutosh, because you're of course working at NN, Nationaal Nederlanden, which is quite a large organization. And I also replied on the chat, should this be available in the catalog item? And I think for larger organizations, it makes sense to have that decentralized, right? But I can also imagine if it's a smaller organization, just a few admins, you want them to grant this access and not have it decentralized within your organization. But I totally agree. If you are going the decentralized route, approval is of big importance.
So
Can it also, for example, be that hey, you're filling out a catalog item or a record producer, and then depending on the role that you selected, that there is approval or not, or perhaps even that you also want to do this, you submit this on your production instance, but actually for your acceptance instance, because at bigger organizations, often you don't even have an admin role on your acceptance environment. So that would maybe also be a nice use case.
so
Go ahead, Dhruv.
question: catalog item or a record producer? I mean,
The thing which Mark mentioned, when acceptance comes into picture, I highly recommend catalog item. If it was one-on-one, when I say production and so if it's the rights are related to one instance, I would definitely go for record producers. But that's my opinion.
I personally feel catalog item is better for single instance as well, because you might want to add some review process or something that might not be possible through record producer. But yeah, let's build catalog item. I'm
True. I
building
mean,
catalog item after 3 years, man. So don't judge.
but meanwhile, when you are building it, like, even if why I said record producer when it comes to one-on-one is because there is active flag on time limited user roles, right? You can only activate it once you have those 2 or 3 levels of approval, what you decide within your organization. With me personally, what the solution which we are developing at the moment in the organization is more about having 2 levels of approval. For example, if Dhruv requests the access, it should go via his manager or product owner, and then it should come to the platform owner, and then it should be granted. But like Mark, you said, if it is, or William, you said, if it's really a niche or small organization, it's too much overkilling to have it. But again, it comes to a single point, that how important auditing is for you. And are you going to give the admin rights in this case to everyone, or are you going to do it based upon the change record or incident or problem? So I would really like to hear more about it. But that, for me, it's very important to request those roles for specific activities and not just to have fun in production.
And also just to add to that, I think a best practice that maybe is underutilized is basically the first line of sort of approval, which is who are we making this catalog item available for? Because I can imagine my boss, for example, if I need admin rights on our production environment, of course we want that audit trail, but whenever I need it, I can just request it, and he wants it to be auto-approved, right? So if that catalog item is available for me, I request it, and it's granted.
So I would suggest to build a way that if I'm the approver or one of the approver in the step, that approval should be even skipped. It should not even go into that step, right? Because I am requesting on your behalf, you should immediately get it. And that's the way we are doing it at the moment to expedite the process. But again, like I said, there should be a genuine reason to get this particular role. In the chat, I can see Ola is asking a question like, so if you are granted a temporary admin role, does this mean you can give yourself permanent admin role? Right now, it's possible, but we as the security admins of the platform owners are restricting it. So we are implementing a solution that you can't modify this table, time limited user role table. It is only possible for the platform team. You will see it, but you can't edit it. So you can't bypass this whole system. So you have to think a bit in future where you say that, are there any ways to bypass this? Is there someone who can hijack this particular process? If the answer is yes, can we restrict it?
You know
So,
one.
yeah,
Okay. Uh,
we'll discuss it.
we'll discuss it. So we have a role field. So I'm curious to see what exactly is on this field. How they have filtered that out. I don't want to make it a choice list or something. So let's see what has been configured at this dictionary. Okay. Reference
And Dhruv,
qualifier.
you're now going from the building to breaking, right?
No, I'm just taking shortcuts for building it. I don't want to.
Oh, okay.
I'm making it scalable so that tomorrow, if ServiceNow introduces few more roles, I expect they don't bypass this function. Instead of uh, creating a query to select three roles. So yeah, that's why.
Dhruv, which roles were behind this reference qualifier or this script include? Um,
Three roles: admin and there was this one, right? Impersonate and SNC read only.
okay.
I want to explore how it works. So if you let's first build the catalog item, man. Otherwise, I'm just tempted to break it. You are holding me down, but let's see. Okay. First thing first, it is a request, not an order. So set this up. Okay. So I've created one field role. I'm not making container split and all. We'll beautify it later on if we get some time. And now the next important field is user. So it's again going to be a reference question user. You can use requested for field, but I'm just going to be
And William did had a question, right? Like, the user criteria really plays an important role when it comes to the sensitive roles if people are requesting. So as an organization, we need to have a strict control over which roles are even possible using this functionality. And that drives the main thing if you want a record producer or catalog item. Because for us, if you want to only do this for a couple of roles, I would definitely go for catalog item like you, Dhruv.
Or would you, Ashutosh, also limit the roles depending on, well, the groups you already have? Like some people are allowed to request an admin role, some people are only allowed to request admin plus read only, for example. Combinations like that, perhaps.
Yeah, so our thinking is basically that first we start with admin role, and only senior people of respective teams can do it because we have that list with us. And who approves? I think Dhruv will come to that point in the later point, that how we decide the approvals. I don't want to hijack his part, but the main thing is audience should be really firm to expose this to the external world.
yeah. In the meantime, audience can think about how they wanna what can we do to break this, because there's no major documentation around this. So I think I'm left with the last variable for now. Enough to start with. I'll make it 500 mandatory.
So Dhruv, we have to confess a bit. Mark and I are already working on breaking it, so you have to be quick. We looked up the script include, and we're investigating the next steps already. So, of course, we will give you a bit of time, but the time bomb is ticking.
Don't challenge me. Okay. I trust my instinct. The catalog item is fine. Let's go for building a flow. So flow designers sometimes take time to load. So I would Give it some time.
Dhruv,
But
are you not using SN utils for this to open Flow Designer? A
my
small
SN
tip.
utils is getting crashed multiple times, so I'm tempted to use SN utils, but I'm just okay. So first thing, let's first focus on the building the decision table first, because we want to put some conditions, right? Or should I? Let's start with the decision table, right? Let's go.
Yeah, Dhruv, one interesting question in the chat from Al. What happens if the user is logged out? Can we still request it for the logged out people or the users?
We can put condition on the reference qualifier for the user field, or we can test that as well if required. But I don't think so that would work. That should be a default. Mark, suggest some good name for decision.
Good name. I don't know. Pick some roles.
Mark helpful.
Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune, yes. That sounds like a plan.
Randomizer.
Okay. One piece of advice: don't do this kind of things in your production. Follow some naming convention.
Another interesting question in the chat again from Al. What if an admin adds an inherited role to the role that was granted? What happens to the inherited role when the time is up?
Again,
what if an admin adds an inherited role to the role that was granted? What happens to the inherited role when time is up? Do we remove all the roles, or do we only remove the inherited role?
So thing is, whatever change you do will stay. It's just that once the time is over, they will just take out the role assigned to you through this limited time role. So if you delete the incident table, it would be deleted as well.
So basically, if you are getting a role via a group, that will still remain even if the time is gone. The role which will be deactivated is only the role via this table, time limited user roles. So to answer and what you said, Dhruv, just to echo it, if we have ITIL role coming from a respective group and ITIL admin role coming from time limited user role table, what will happen is basically that ITIL role will still remain because it is coming from one of the groups, and only the ITIL admin role will go away because it was coming from this particular process or this particular table. Is that correct?
Yes. One interesting thing that I found could be improved in ServiceNow Flow Decision Builder. So you notice that you have to select, I have to type the name of the table, or I can search with the user, but I am habitual of doing something like this. For example, if I have to search, where is that? On the reference field, if I have to search for the table, what I used to do is I used to do, for example, if I have to search sys user, I used to press this square bracket, so it shortlist the stuff for me. But on decision builder, you don't see that square bracket, so you have to scroll the record anyhow. So sys user. Okay. The best part about a decision builder is I can select the condition. For role, I would keep the reference record. I think for user, let's play with the location. So you can click field. Mark, can you check if we have any people? We're gonna be a bit biased here, and I'm gonna check the what do you call that? Whosoever is based out of Netherlands will get different approver.
Yeah, there should be a lot of users in the Netherlands. Let me check.
And the thing is, why I'm not getting two tabs? So, okay, role. Okay, registration field done. Here you go. Can I hide this? So user, this is location. So I'll just put if it is Netherlands. Just see if the spelling or other things is same.
Yeah, I think in this instance it's just NL.
Oh, okay. And if it is just NL, that's
Yes.
then I have to add a result column. So I'm just gonna return a group maybe. So that's gonna do the approval. Does that sounds like a good use case?
Yep.
Okay. So user
But
group.
one quick question, right? When we were doing this, or when we were evaluating this, maybe an open discussion again, like, do you want to limit this role for a period of change window if it is related to change, if you are trying to implement the change in production, or do you really want to restrict it for 1 day, 2 days, or 3 days? So what's our thinking in this? For me, it was a bit of tough to make a decision. Do I want to really limit it to that window, or we should have it for a specific time? So what are our thoughts when we are building this?
Well, I think the way people use that depends, because if I'm requesting it for some time, I would try to merge 2, 3 changes and deploy them together. But yeah,
What do you think, William?
Sorry, what was the question?
It was like, should we restrict it, or should we bound it for a limited time, like 1 day or 2 day, or should we bound it for a specific change window if it is to implement something which has broken due to a change, or you are activating a plugin in production? So if the change is for 4 days, plan date and start end date, because I landed into this question and it was very tough for me to make a decision, because that is also a valid question, that why can't you make it time bound to the change window if you are asking for a change number on the catalog item?
Yeah, I think you're right. It depends on the use case that you want to request it. I would say as a fireman procedure, I think at most it would be a day, right? And then you can always request it another time if you need it another day. Really think about, of course, limiting the number of admins that you have, especially, but then also limiting the amount of time that they have admin access. But as you said, I can imagine if we break this to include more roles, you can say, hey, maybe for the duration of the next sprint, we need, as Mark said, maybe on a non-production environment, elevated roles for this sprint. That could be a scenario where I think it made sense to extend it by more than 5 days.
Yeah, I can also imagine that that you have to give some proof, right? That you have to select an incident that you're working on, or a change that you're working on, and then you can also look at the reference record and what are the windows mentioned in there, right? If it's a change for several days, perhaps the time limited user role needs to be for that days. But if it's an incident, maybe you should only get the access for 8 hours or something, because you don't want to overextend it by default, right? But yeah, just some thoughts, but yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to make it more complex when it comes to really decision making. We have internals, we have externals. So if you want to give access to externals, you really want it short, right? For a couple of hours, if they would really want to do a hot fix. If it comes to an internal, you can have it for a prolonged period. But while we are discussing this, again, for our audience, is all these questions might pop up into your discussions with your senior management, and when you actually do it into your team. We went through this particular series of questions, and it's always good to have the discussion in such a forum, right?
Yes. Okay. Make a decision. One quick thing that I have learned from decision builder experience, that if you have complex condition, it's perfect to use decision builder. But if you are doing one-to-one mapping, don't do it. Like if this user raised that request, assign it to this group or something like that. Don't do it. At least if you have at least two parameters, and you can build any tough condition over here. And the bit around this is it do consume some compute power. So there is one option that everybody should look into. People say don't use that, but I personally don't prefer to use branches, because sometimes it's basically used if you have if you want to do. So I'll just do. So if you have different approvals or different process for different conditions, then only you go for these. Otherwise, I think you can again manage this through dynamic flows as well. So I personally don't like to use branches. But yeah, I'm just gonna map the fields for this condition builder, decision builder, and ask for an approval. Oh man, we are running out of time. Shit. I should start breaking it. I'm tempted to break it.
I already have a few notes in my investigation, and I see Mark smiling. So if you need help with the breaking, we are already anxiously waiting.
Decision table, multiple records. I haven't set the output. Approval group, it should come as output right here. Or am I missing something? It should be result element. What?
Earl wants to zboot our instance. Wow.
Okay. I have to create a record as well. So let's create that record. Create record. So, does anybody know time limited? What's the name of that table? Time. Was it time limited? Time. There you go. Add fields. Perfect. I need to add if condition. Okay. So I'll just do it. Roll.
Maybe in the meantime, a challenging question for at least Ashutosh and Mark. Can you tell us a story of why you should not get admin access? Maybe a horror story, that's something you did in a project that you think, by no means I should have admin access, but I still have it.
Well,
Deactivate all the users.
Ooh, that's a
I have
nice one.
deleted the incident table once.
I did that when I was still working on a different product. Accidentally, I was on the wrong Linux server. I thought it was the development environment, but it was actually the production environment. And I just typed shut down.
I think that's really a common scenario, right, Mark, where people mix up the different environments. So as we say in the fundamentals, always change the color of it. And I think now in SNUtils, the plugin that Arnold Koy has made, you can, even with that plugin, really highlight this is production, don't do any development stuff here. Having said that, indeed, if that happens to you, the best way to handle it, just be transparent about it, call it out in your team, and try to fix it together, because we all have those stories, right? We've been doing this for a few years, 5 years, 10 years, some people 15 years. I have never met anyone that never made a mistake. And then we're all here to fix it, right?
Yeah. One interesting example which I had with one of my developers in past was there was a typo in this add query condition in the background script. And when that happens, ServiceNow actually skips that query and it will update all the returns. Right. So it was a nightmare. Imagine the day was 31st of December. Me sitting along with the developers fixing that thing on the New Year's Eve will remember in my mind forever for my life. So you did ask a right question, William. It was one of the experience from which I have learned a lot, that how you should do peer review. What is the
Okay.
importance of your testing?
Nice. I think it will work. I'll just quickly check. I doubt that it won't work. Should I start breaking things up? I want to explore.
Yes,
Can
please
you
break
call
it.
it mindfulness? Okay. I'll follow my approach. So it's going to the right approval group. So I think if you approve, it will create a record. So that's fine. So how I start, I'll tell you that. First, I'll go to the table and I'll just copy its name. I don't remember the name that easy. And I'll start with this thing first. So it will give you everything what has been configured on this table. So yeah, so first cache is business rule, dictionary entries, some ACLs. Okay, business rule, let's go into that. What it is doing in the backend. This is PDI, man, so you have to bear with me. Okay, before insert update. Okay, get property. Yeah, more than 5 days. I think that is the value. So nothing here. Let's go back. Dictionary.
What you just showed on the screen, right, is it shows us that there's a property. If that
Yeah.
doesn't contain a value, it defaults to those 5 days. And judging by the name, allowed max days. If we go to that property, we can change it, right? So to sort of break this, it
No,
seems, at least from this property, we don't have to do fancy stuff, right?
exactly.
We can just set the property
Exactly.
value.
But there is I think there would be some trick, but I want to follow the process that I personally follow. So nothing here. The one thing, if you remember, when we were discussing this role field, it has some code as well, right? Some
Yeah.
script include or something. So let's try to get that thing and see how it is working at the moment. So, okay, I'll search. Oh, this is config helper file. Nice. So let's search that script include where that function has been called. Kudos to Arnold Kui. You man save a lot of. So we have a script include and just one script include. Oh, it's still searching. I don't think so. If it has reached to these tables, then it find something.
Yeah, I expanded the search on this instance, Dhruv. That's why it takes a bit longer. So instead of the out-of-the-box 30 tables, it does a few hundred. But yeah, this is the script include, yeah.
I found another property that, and I think from here it is getting this. So one way is to delete that property, but when you delete something, you would get some. I mean, if you change script include, definitely it will show as a thing. Next place is to look for is sys properties. So I always get confused if it is properties or property, but I think it's sys properties. Yes. Okay, let's search. There's one. So I assume let's start deleting from the backend. Two
And
properties.
maybe to add a fun fact, right? Because you say, is it sys properties or sys property, like singular or plural? And usually you would say all the tables are singular, right? The technical
Yeah.
names. But
That's why
this
I
one,
always
I
get
think, is the
confused.
only exception, right?
So I don't know. There could be multiple, but who knows? Okay, we can't edit this property because you need right role. I mean T. Okay.
Oh, but that's
Okay.
that Dhruv, that's not an issue. I don't know if we should show it on the live stream, but we can edit this. Maint
I
doesn't mean anything for us as developers.
know. I think device giving me one, so I'll just show in folder. I'll just open this property. You are not able to see my that screen. Okay, I have to reshare. Present. I'm gonna share another screen. Mm, I'll do an entire screen. Okay, present. Share screen. Share screen. Entire screen. Share. Now you should see. Just gonna try some role.
So this is the record that we just saw exported as an XML, right? So you're now
Yes.
editing the XML of that same record that you just shared in the other screen.
Exactly. So I'm just putting user admin. I hope that is the one.
And
And
Dhruv,
now,
would something like for the HR plugin, like SN HR core admin, would that also work? Because that
I'll-
is a total separate thing, right? Because that's a different elevated roles.
yeah,
And in a different scope, right? So that might be an interesting one to test. Probably more challenging.
yeah. Let's start the easy one and see if it works, and then we'll try for the. So I'm just assuming, man. I'm just trying it for the first time. So I'm
Yeah, but
gonna
you want
delete.
to you wanted to break stuff, right? So
Yeah. You see, whenever if you notice, like whenever hackers get in, they first print 7x7 before printing the what you call the actual break stuff. So that property should be gone. So let's search, and I'm gonna import XML. Choose file. This is the one, I guess. See, Mr. Goran, we had a London meetup recently, so I was just building his deck. Now, see, the updated or end date hasn't changed, but it says you have another role. So let's go back to our catalog. The it was favorite, right? So let's try. I'll try to create a new one.
And Dhruv, it might become, yeah, we can say it might become more interesting when you actually separate the admin role, SecOps admin role, HR admin role from the admin role. So you might have to do the same thing which you did right now.
Let's do it. Just give me role name. SN underscore
underscore SI dot admin.
what?
SN underscore SI dot admin.
We don't have SI plugin on this instance, so
yeah, this plugin only HR, so you can do SN HR core dot admin, or is it underscore admin?
that's the
Dot admin.
confusing thing.
Dot admin.
Not sure it's gonna work, but this is fun. Charcoal admin. Okay, let's go back to the Property again. History. Time limited.
Can we try Mint?
Maint is there as a role, but not allowing multiple records to update the property. Okay. Go here. I don't care. Here you go. Import XML. I would be surprised if there is no restriction on this, but let's try.
This was the thing that I was thinking, like it has the right access for main, but yeah, we can work around that, right? So indeed, you have the delete access, you can just change it and import it. Oh, nice.
Can you try request it? And if this works with mains, then we break the internet, I think. But
19th. I doubt, man, it will work because if you notice the backend script, it is requesting the Clyde security script include. I don't remember the exact name, but let's try. Ooh. Okay. How's it got? I don't know why it's behaving abruptly, but okay. This person, I've given him this role, and we are close to time. Should I test or should I leave it?
We still have a couple of minutes. So if you're breaking things,
yeah, don't leave us hanging on the cliffhanger, Dhruv.
Okay. HR case or which one? It's the case only. Whew. It worked, man.
Wow, nice. You broke it or you hacked it, I don't know, but this is nice.
I think Earl's now on the phone with the police.
Okay. I'll stop sharing. I think it's a good point. Then in the next episode, we'll see how we can secure this and we'll try to build something around that. I'll stop sharing.
Awesome.
I'm joining you guys back.
Thank you so much, Dhruv, for driving us through the cool feature. Of course, thanks to Mark and William for sharing your wisdom with us. But this is the exciting time. So we are going to first do some shameless plugs. There are many things coming up. I would like to hand over to Mark to highlight some of his stuff and upcoming things. So Mark.
Should we start with things in the Netherlands?
Yes, of course.
Okay. For the Netherlands, I wrote down a few. There's an upgrade event coming. I will be co-hosting that and presenting at that. It will be late September in Baren. It's an in-person event. Then we have the ServiceNow user group, of course. October 9th in The Hague. We'll share a link for that. We have the World Forum at November 20 in Rotterdam. We can also share a link for that. Do you also have things for the Netherlands, or should I proceed with worldwide, general?
We, of course, me and Dhruv do Lata Viprata, so we have some guests coming up, lined up. Nothing to expose yet. We will like to keep it as secret. But William.
Yeah, I will share the link to my YouTube channel. It's at Willem Zeiler. And I have some exciting interviews there as well with fellow MVPs, rising stars, and also a recap of some of the knowledge topics. So be sure to follow that as well.
Yeah. Dhruv?
I think we are good here, but I want to invite William to be our next guest for Latan Vipratan. So you hijacked our thing, but want to do a single episode with you as a special guest, and you are not allowed to hijack that. But
Great. So as we have hijacked this show as well, we do have to rate our drinks. Let's start with you, Dhruv.
Ashutosh, should we also mention something on the general announcement?
Apologies. Go for it.
Yeah, really quickly, we have Breakpoint, of course, next Wednesday. I don't know if we should share with who. I did saw who, but anyway, we have Tech Now, August 1st. We'll share the link. Then we have the Xanadu family release, also August 1st, or for Australia, it will be August 2nd, of course.
Yeah.
Then we have the World Forums in general, that's October and November, in 6 different places, I believe, but we'll share the link. And of course, Knowledge 25.
We have t-shirts.
It's 291 days away. Only 291 days away. That's the announcements. Go ahead.
Great. And I think we also have World Forum in London and the Creator Con meetup, Dhruv, there coming soon.
yeah, we are planning for a October 2 World Forum and a meetup there. But the other thing is another special date, August 1st. I think Chuck would retire. So if you want to trouble him, that is September 1 or August 1, September 1. So you still have 1 month to tease him, annoy him. So yeah.
Definitely. Okay. Chuck, this was for you. We all have the bow tie for you. But now it's time to rate our drinks. So Dhruv, we'll start with you.
I feel we had a good success, so I won't give it anything less than 5.
Awesome. William.
So Dhruv just did the Atje voor de sfeer. I had the lemonade, which tasted like lemonade, so it was good. It helped me investigate. The script includes quite fast. So
Awesome. Mark.
So what was your rating, Willem?
Out of 5?
Yeah.
I would say 5 out of 5. It was a real lemonade.
Yeah, my Hertog Jan Grand Prestige, it's a big bottle, but it's almost empty. I would say it's a 5, and we had success, quarter point success, so it's 5.25. Yeah, 5 and a quarter.
Awesome. Last but not least, me, Afligam, I would say 4.5. I'm a big fan of Hertogian as well, so I will go at the moment for 4.5. That being said, thank you everyone for joining us in today's live coding happy hour. Again, this was the 8th anniversary episode. Yay! I said it's 6th in the beginning, but now it's 8th. Yay! Dhruv, thanks for joining us. Mark, William, again, I appreciate your time. And I hope our audience liked us. We shared our wisdom, we shared our knowledge on this wonderful topic. For now, I would say have a nice weekend, have a nice day, evening, afternoon, where you're located, and I will see you later on. Thanks from all the Dutch MVPs to our audience. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.